Hey everybody, it's Joanna. Today I'm going to talk about evil spirits. Obviously, I'm dealing with metaphysics, or what some people would call the occult, to a certain degree. I don't know if I really consider what I do the occult, but it's definitely spiritual. It's definitely metaphysics. I think of the occult more of like darker, a little bit kind of stuff. But this is just what I do. This is what I was born with this, so this is what I do. So a lot of times people will ask me if I am, fearful of evil spirits and stuff like that. And one thing I can guarantee you of from doing this work and being born with this and just living as long as I've lived is that there are indeed evil spirits. There are things in other realms, good and bad. There is a God. There is a Satan. There is both. If there's good, there's evil. So when people ask me this, I'm like, well, yeah, I've had some things happen early on where I had to kind of be careful, but I do believe in God. I'm not a pagan. So for me, like, praying is one of those things that is just a normal part of my day. Morning, noon, night, before readings, everything else, that's something I do. But what I tell people, more than just worrying about, what I do or dealing with what we can't necessarily see, is that we are all spirits. Each and every single one of us is just a spirit. That's what we are. And we're all here in this little realm we call Earth right now together. So there's good people, there's bad people, there's people in between. I am a firm believer that there are demons that walk among us. You can turn on the news and it's proof. You can scroll through social media and it's proof. So because that we're just essentially we're spirits, I'm more hesitant about the ones here than I am the ones over there, okay? Because I can take care of them with prayer and everything else. God is always stronger than evil, but doesn't mean evil doesn't exist, because it does. And clearly those of you who are intuitive, I said this to a friend of mine about 2 years ago. I said, we are about to enter some kind of a spiritual war. I can feel it. And so putting politics aside or what your beliefs are in that, putting all that stuff aside, basically we're in a fight right now between good and evil, and it kind of is up to you on what side you're in. Now, I deal with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people a year, right? So I have heard probably every single story under the sun. Not that I remember really anything, but there's glimpses of situations where I can kind of remember people telling me stuff that's been done to them and happened to them. And then from my own personal experience, because I've done a lot of things in my life, I was a teacher for years, I worked in advertising, I was doing this when I was teaching. I've done pretty much, like, I worked at the Renaissance Festival. Like, I've been, I've experienced with a lot of people in my life. There's certain traits and qualities that I have found that people that I consider evil have, okay? Now, one of the first things that is a red flag to me, and I found this across the board, is evil people always need a victim. Always. If they don't have a victim, if they don't have somebody to emotionally, physically, psychologically abuse, they become very depressed, because remember, like, that's how they feed, that makes them feel good to hurt others, So what I see with a lot of these people is if they don't have a significant other to abuse, or they don't have, somebody in their family to abuse, or just somebody at work, a coworker, they will resort to hurting and abusing the innocent, animals and children, okay? So right there, anybody that abuses animals or children, that's a red flag, okay? You want to try to stay as far away as possible from that individual. And I don't mean like, serial killer stuff. I mean like subliminal abuse. You know what I mean? Like the person that gets home from work and kicks the dog because they had a bad day. The person that just puts little, negative things in a kid's head to kind of hurt their self-esteem, to make them not feel good about themselves. These are all, to me, signs of evil, because remember, evil is, at the end of the day, weak. It really is. God is stronger. The other thing I've noticed that evil people do, well, they're pretty much always consummate liars, okay? So now, the way good people kind of get tricked is because they'll come across sometimes as so nice, like you have no idea they're such a liar. But if you pay attention to your intuition, and I've had this happen so many times where I've just met somebody and I'm like, no. And, I'm more vocal now because I'm older, but even when I was really young, I remember getting those feelings about people. I've been in stores before and just gotten like a bad vibe, you know? But they're always accusing other people of what they're doing, okay? They're always. Now, they'll accuse people of being liars because they're all liars, okay? They'll accuse people of abusing them because they are indeed the abusers. They will accuse people of being racist because they're the racist ones. And they will accuse people of being jealous because you see, in fact, they're very jealous. Evil people tend to be very jealous, I've noticed, of other people. And again, going back, we are all just spirits, guys. It's like we're just all from, if this is my belief, like we're all from different dimensions here and we're all meeting here because at this time, because we all have a job to do. So, like I said, they're very jealous. They will, you can see now, and I've known people like this, you can see in their face, their kind of anger if, you know, you're getting successful, you know what I mean? Or, you know, you're working and you're getting someplace, or if you get a little more attention than them, you know what I mean? They tend to like a lot of attention, but, you know, they may get it for a bit and then it goes away. So they resent anyone that gets that attention. So this is the thing. They're always projecting onto other people what they are. So this is why when somebody tells me a story like so-and-so did something to me, whatever, like I use my own intuition to whether or not I believe that. I'm not one that buys into gossip, okay, at all. Like I have to feel it myself, see it or feel it myself before I believe it. Because evil people do like to turn people against one person too. Remember, they're weak. So for them, that's like their source of power. Like, oh, you know, I got everybody against this person. Now, if you have a strong belief in God and your spirituality and stuff like that, it's not going to work. So it may temporarily, but you know, it's not going to work long time. Evil people don't win long time. And I know I've talked to so many of you guys, you're like, but Joanna, I just want to see, I want to see the karma. We don't always see it, but sometimes we do, you know, and it's really not our, it's not our job. We're not God to, you know, have to see it, but just have faith that it will. One thing I do, because, you know, of course, in my world, people always like, you know, mean, nasty people always are thinking I'm putting spells on them, right? Because it's their guilty conscience or something. I don't know. I don't do spells, but what I do in my own head, because I don't want the bad karma, that's why I don't do spells. So what I do in my own head is, plus I'm not a pagan, me and my friend call this, we call it boomeranging. So if somebody does something to undermine me, something evil, making up lies, whatever, what I do in my head is I just boomerang it back, okay? And that's it. That's what I do mentally. I'm just like, boom, right back at you, and you'll see how things turn out. Same thing when people wish good on me. You know, I boomerang it back. I actually picture the boomerang. So, and inevitably, you know, stuff happens, right? Because what you put out, any of us, we get back tenfold sooner or later. Nobody gets away with anything. Nobody. So we all should be doing our best to try to help people, try to help animals. They are also spirits that are important. Their lives are important as well. Trying to help everybody out as much as possible. The third thing I've noticed about evil people is they don't like when somebody disagrees with them, okay? They are not these, they might come across like it. They might be like, oh, you know, peace and love, peace and love. But the second you know, have a different opinion or a different belief or whatever, they can become very aggressive. You know, they can become very aggressive. They can even become physically aggressive because their self-importance, okay, they have a great sense of self-importance, and they feel as though, how dare this person disagree with me? You guys know what I do is what I do for a living. I do not care if people believe in what I do or what I don't. I have my people. I've been this way since day one. It's okay if somebody's like, Joanna, I'm not into it. I'm not going to get like, oh, you know, how dare you, whatever. That's fine. But evil, nasty people, they will do anything, you know, like I said, they'll pit people against each other to kind of separate and everything else. They cannot stand when somebody disagrees with them, okay? They can't stand it, you know, especially nowadays because there's so much political stuff going on. Pay attention to those people that get real ruthless, that, you know, block you if you say your own opinion, stuff like that, because see, the devil's intention is to separate, okay? So the devil has his little workers here, and They may come across as very, very sweet people and everything else, but you know, dig a little bit deeper, guys. Dig a little bit deeper, and you find that there are all kind of spirits on this realm. Okay, they're not all good. So when people ask me if I'm scared, again, you know, I protect myself spiritually. So no, I'm not scared of, like, if I see a ghost, okay? That doesn't scare me. Now, I'm scared of some of the psychos that are like walking down the street. Yeah, I'm real protective. Of course, God will help with that too. But I'm real hesitant about those kind of people. So then somebody says, how can you protect yourself from this kind of a person if you have a feeling that they're a bad person? Okay, first of all, get them out of your life, if at all possible. Cut all ties. Evil people are here they want you hurt. They want you feeling insecure. They'll take any weakness. Definitely don't give them any personal information. If you're having a bad day, you're not feeling good, whatever, your boyfriend just broke up, your girlfriend, whatever, you know, you're getting a divorce, whatever. Those are the people that would be like, oh, you know, the evil people, they thrive on your pain, okay? That gives them strength. That gives them power. So what you want to do is get as spiritually, physically, emotionally strong as possible. So, because they're going for victims, remember? They're always looking for a victim. They're always looking for somebody they perceive as weaker, going through a difficult time, something like that. And again, they can come across like, oh, I'm just trying to help you. No. You'll know, you know. So they're always looking for victims. So the thing is, never be a victim. Never be a victim, okay? And although they try to act like they're victims a lot of circumstances, that's to try to get the pity, to try to manipulate the situation so that they can get something from somebody else. That's what they do. They're manipulating. So you guys be able to see through that stuff. There is nothing more bad for our health, bad for our physical appearance, bad for our psyche, bad for our spirituality than having to be around and immersed in the energy of evil, okay? So if by any means you can get away from it, get away from it. Now, I know some of you are maybe work with people like this and stuff like that, and you can't. What you want to do is, again, say your prayers. You want to create a protection. And I have a hard time with this because I am a psychic and I have to tap into people's stuff all the time. So I get anxiety and everything else because it's like their problems become my problems. And it gets a little bit overwhelming for me. But you want to detach as much as possible. And again, don't give them any personal information. If you have a cold, don't even tell them you have a cold. They'll somehow figure out a way to use that against you. So these are the three things, you guys. You want to stay away from people that are abusive to animals and or children. You want to stay away from people that are always projecting and accusing other people, that are always playing the victim. Believe me, they're manipulating. There are real victims out there, and that's doing them a disservice because they're not getting the help they need by these people who are always lying and saying they're victimized by somebody else, because evil people are always liars. I can guarantee you that. And lastly, you definitely want to stay away from people that are violent. Okay, that should be a given, but you know, it's right there. It's major proof you're not dealing with a good entity at that point. All right, so that's it today. If you have any comments, questions, please feel free to comment below, especially if you've had situations like this. I'd like to hear about it with these types of individuals. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.